Good morning, students. Today we have a new question from organic chemistry. Its basis is from our textbook, but it is of an advanced nature. I will read the question. An alkane on reforming gives rise to mesitylene, which is symmetrical trimethylbenzene. Question 1. How many structurally different monochloro derivatives can this alkane give rise to? Second, among all the monochloro derivatives, how many enantiomeric pairs can be formed? And both the answers number between 5 and 50. There will be two answers because there are two questions. Okay. The given thing in our textbook, we have studied in the first organic chemistry, the second hydrocarbon, how we can convert an alkane to an aromatic compound. For example, in the text they have given converting hexane to benzene. Hexane to benzene. For that, the mentioned condition is either Cr2O3 or Mn2O3 or vanadium pentoxide V2O5 as the catalyst, 15 to 20 atmospheric pressure and 773 Kelvin temperature, a rigorous condition. Then, by eliminating 4 pair of hydrogen molecule, benzene molecule is formed. This is called reforming or aromatization. And sometimes platinum is also used as a catalyst. Then such a reaction is called platforming. Okay. They have put a question in the textbook. If you want toluene, what will be the starting material? It is very easy to guess, because then if it is toluene, you have one methyl group extra here. In that case, you will also have to also need a methyl group here. So in that case, you have to start with heptane. Okay. Now our case, we want the product to be mesitylene, which is symmetrical trimethylbenzene, CS3. Its IUPAC name is 1,3,5-trimethylbenzene or symmetrical trimethylbenzene or mesitylene. If you want two more methyl groups like that, see this position. So you will have one methyl group over here, and on this position you mean one methyl group also over here. Then this compound, on such a treatment, the treating condition might be somewhat different, at different pressure at a different temperature. That is not a concern for us. Then the compound will get converted to symmetrical trimethylbenzene. Okay. Now we got the reactant here, or we got the compound mentioned in the question. This part is no more required for our finding the answer. So I am wiping them down. We focus on this compound. To answer the first question, how many monochloro derivative this compound can give, we have to recognize how many structurally different carbons are present in this molecule. Look here, this methyl and this methyl are structurally identical. So we can put the number 1 for both of them. These are not the correct IUPAC numbering. To understand how many different carbons are there, we are doing like this. This and this are put as 1. This is a different carbon 2. This is another different 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. There are 8 structurally different carbons with substitutable hydrogens there. No carbon is quaternary. Quaternary carbons will not have substitutable hydrogen. Here carbons are either primary or secondary or tertiary. So all have at least one hydrogen which is substitutable by a chlorine. So all these different positions are substitutable with the chlorine. So you have 8 structurally different monochloro derivatives. So the first question has been answered. Now we have to answer the second part. How many enantiomeric pairs will be there among the monochloro derivatives of this compound? Before considering that, we have to think about how many carbon atoms in the original alkane is optically active. This is CS3, optically inactive, not an asymmetric carbon center. Optically inactive, not an asymmetric carbon center. Here this carbon is also not asymmetric because two CH3 groups are there. not asymmetric, nor this because two hydrogen atoms are there, but this carbon 4 is optically active because it is having 4 different attachments. 5, this carbon optically inactive, this inactive, this inactive, and this inactive. So as a whole, there is only one optically active carbon so far in the original alkane. Now we think about substituting one hydrogen in each different carbon by one chlorine atom. Suppose you substitute one chlorine here, one hydrogen here by chlorine. Then we will have a pair of enantiomers, not because this carbon turned into optical activity, but because this is optically active. So this will have a dextro variety and a levo variety with one chlorine substituted over here. So we have one pair. Now think this and this are identical. Think about here, substituting one hydrogen with a chlorine. Again, this carbon will not turn to be optically active. It is not asymmetric even after substitution by chlorine. Yet, due to this carbon, there will be another pair dextro-levo, second pair. Here, see here, if you substitute one hydrogen by one chlorine atom, what happened? This carbon also turn out to be asymmetric because it is having 4 different attachments, one hydrogen, one chlorine, 2 different alkyl groups. So, 2 carbons become optically active, this and this. When there are 2 optically active carbon centers, there can be a maximum 2 to the power 2 enantiomers. 2 to the power 2 optical active varieties means 4 optical active varieties. But we are asked to find the pairs. This 4 will exist as only 2 pairs. Which are they? See, the 4 different optically active compounds will be one DL, another LD, third DD, and the last LL. DL, LD, DD, LL. But they are existing as 2 pairs. DL, it's a mirror image LD. DD, it's a mirror image LL. So, while you substitute here one hydrogen by chlorine, we have 2 enantiomeric pairs possible. Okay. Now think about substituting here. When you substitute this hydrogen with the chlorine, it was already asymmetric. It continued to be asymmetric. So it can give rise to only one pair. No 2 carbons are not optically active here. The optically active carbon continued to be optically active. No new optically active carbons in there. So you get only one pair from there. Substitute here. It turns out to be another optically active carbon, HCl, 2 alkyl group. So, as in the previous case, it will give rise to 2 more new pairs, not 1, 2 more new pairs. Same thing will happen here. If you substitute one hydrogen by chlorine, that carbon turns out to be optically active, HCl, CS3 and the big alkyl group. So, that will also give you another pair. What about this carbon? If you substitute here, it will not turn out to be optically active, but this continued to be optically active. In that case, you will have one pair of enantiomer. We should not miss this one. If you substitute one chlorine here, this carbon alone is optically active. This is not going to be optically active. CS2Cl is not optically active carbon center. So, you will have another pair. So, total number of enantiomeric pairs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 pairs. So, our 2 answers are 8 and 11. The last thing, enantiomeric pair, I will repeat. As a whole, there is only one asymmetric carbon center. If you substitute here or here one chlorine, one hydrogen with a chlorine, that carbon will not turn out to be optically active. But since this is optically active, there will be one DL pair. If you do the same thing here, this will not turn out to be optically active. But due to this asymmetric carbon, there will be another pair of enantiomer. But if you substitute here or here or here, in all these 3 cases, there will be 2 asymmetric carbon center in the molecule. And in all these cases, there will be 2 enantiomeric pairs. 2, 2, 2. But if you substitute here or here, that carbon is not going to be optically active. But this carbon being optically active, they will both contribute 1 pair enantiomers, making a total 11. So the two answers are 8 and 11. Hope you understood that. Take care.